Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas.
I need to write a song. Everything is problematic.
This is Emsolation.
Because I have to find a way to dump the bodies.
I mean, do you think there's a universe where you could be rewarded with $100,000 for not having sex? I would have been making bank.
If you're listening now and you're in Melbourne and you're not wearing a mask, you can't be friends with Michael and I. I'm sorry, you're out.
You're in Emsolation.
What an episode. Wow. Hello, my darlings. How are you? Welcome to Emsolation. Look, I'm going to have a deep and meaningful with you now, and I received some feedback from an Emsolation listener who said she felt she missed me kind of talking at the start of, some thought processes I've been having or just some ideas, and she felt that I was doing too much just introing of Michael's segment. And at first I was like, oh, God, all right, I'm doing my best. And then I realised she was right. Generally, in my experience, when someone says something is wrong, they're right. I guess the reason I have been pulling back on, talking about life's observations and the stuff I've been going through is because I've been in lockdown. I haven't really been doing much. I mean, I've been doing a lot of soul searching. I've definitely spent a great chunk of lockdown evaluating the kind of person I want to be and the places I've been making mistakes. And, essentially my goal is to be able to sleep at night. There are still things that haunt me from like 2007 that I'm like, oh, God, I must try and reach out to that person. Or I don't know, I'm just on this quest to be able to sleep well, go lightly in the world. And, I feel like in the past I have left a little bit of a trail of destruction because I am a whirlwind of emotions, thoughts and creativity. And I have mowed people down in the past in my quest to kind of achieve, and I'm aware of that. So I haven't been doing what I did do when this podcast started out. And yes, Scott doesn't do the podcast anymore, but that is purely because I need him to keep the rest of the house quiet while I'm recording. But he'll be back, But I did want to talk about a little something that came up from last week's episode. So to the person who asked me to, start doing these little introductions again, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I am pretty good at taking feedback once I've gotten over the sting of the feedback. So last week, Michael and I were very kind of lightly and cavalierly, anyway, you know what I mean, chatting about wanting to lose weight. And I guess this podcast is just really putting a microphone in front of my conversations with my best mate. And I've always seen it that way, and that's the way we approach it. We try to keep it very honest, and we try to keep it very loose and as close to the real thing as possible. And I forget that oftentimes, you think about when you chat with your closest friend. I know that there'd be some things that the public should never hear. Think about it. Think about the things you text your mate when you're at your worst, or when you're having a conversation you just want to vent. Think about the things you've said. Should there be a microphone in front of that? Possibly not. And I guess when Michael and I were chatting about the weight we'd put on in isolation, me being a former elite athlete, him being a person who has in the past struggled with his weight, I guess we have both spent an unhealthy amount of time thinking about the way we look. And it has become second nature to us in our friendship. It has become something that we talk about a lot. And when I think about it, so many of my friends talk about diets and their body, and it's everywhere. The diet talk is insidious. And so when I was contacted by, I would say 5 or 6 listeners of the podcast, and they said, and they were very kind about it. You guys are really great at, I never feel attacked. But one woman particularly said that she felt like Michael and I were basically saying we were doing all that we can to not look like her. And she identified herself as an overweight person. She said, I'm overweight, and when I hear people talking about desperately wanting to diet and be smaller, to me it feels like they're saying the way I look is wrong. And initially I was really upset, and I recorded a video and you guys saw it, because whenever I talk about my experiences in life, when I've talked about my miscarriage, when I've talked about Scott and I separating, when I've talked about people I love dying, I try to really make sure I only talk about my experience in those tough situations. I never generalize. I never want to speak for other people or on other people's behalf. I never want to say all people feel like I do. So to me, when I'm talking about I can't do my pants up and I've put on 8 kilograms and I'm not where I usually sit, I only ever kind of feel that's in the vacuum of M. But what I don't realize is that, me saying that, even though I'm just talking about wanting to be the best version of myself, and I'm definitely not making a comment on people who don't look like me, I can understand how that, it would hurt someone's feelings who didn't look like me, who does identify as overweight or a bigger woman or a curvy woman, a voluptuous woman. I do understand that. So I apologize. I apologize for the diet talk because there is a weird, unhealthy obsession. And just because we all talk about it doesn't mean it's right. And I know that, a lot of too much talk about limiting food and constantly kind of self-body shaming, it can lead to eating disorders and obsessions. And, I punished my body. When I was an athlete, I had a certain weight that I had to race at that, enabled me to kind of reach optimum speed. And I had this amazing, strong body, but I didn't care for her. I wish to apologize to 15-year-old Em. I was ripped and I looked fit and healthy, but in reality, I punished myself for every meal. And that's a hard mindset to get out of. And I look back at photos of me, even from just 5 years ago, and I look and I think, God, you look so healthy and you look so, small. And I remember at the time distinctly feeling like I wasn't, like I was overweight. So, I've spent the weekend thinking about it, as I so often do. And initially I did react and that's so the thing with Michael. And when I told Michael about some of the reactions, he immediately kind of leant away and was like, yeah, they're right. We shouldn't have done that. But what I tend to do with that kind of stuff is that I lean in. I lean in and I need to understand it and I need to feel it and process it. I have to kind of inhabit the space to be able to come out the other side as I have now 3 days later. So Michael straight away was like, oh, yeah, we should have done that. And I can understand how people, who do identify as overweight would have felt that we were fat shaming them. So I, on the other hand, took 3 days to process and come out the other side and then, talk about it at length with Scott and do some research. And, so I just wanted to kind of reaffirm to you all that I wish to get back to, after I gave birth to Elio, I put on the baby weight and then I haven't really been able to get back to the fitness level I was at before I fell pregnant. And I'm someone who identifies as a fit person, always have been. I love exercise. I don't love running or, I love yoga and dance classes and that kind of exercise. But I'm a sporty person. I've been a sporty person since I was 3 years old. And I kind of lost her over the past 2-3 years. And all of a sudden I would like to get her back. So I'm doing this, eating healthy, exercising every day. I'm doing this thing because I want to reach my best self, not because I want to adhere to some sort of weird societal standard that I need to be thin or that I need to look a certain way. Truly, you know me well enough to know that stuff doesn't particularly get to me. But, I'll just be more careful with the messaging that Michael and I send out and be aware that not all conversations need to see the light of day. So that's what I really wanted to say. And I guess I've also really been working on, over lockdown, I realised that I was using food to kind of soothe my emotions and my feelings about how things were going. And I was kind of looking forward to food. And that's how I've ended up creeping up. My relationship with food has become an emotional relationship, when really I used to view food as this great fuel, as good fuel to help me do great shit. And I've needed to reassess my relationship with food. So again, apologies if this triggered any of you, if you felt fat shamed. I'm very sorry. We won't be talking about it again just because it's not helpful to everyone. But I do encourage you all to think about your health always. I want you all to be healthy and happy. And I have found, as I've said multiple times, moving each day has just made such a massive difference to how I'm feeling in my body. I mean, I know. And again, as I've said to you all, I wish there was another way. Because sometimes, especially with what's been going on, you don't want to get off the couch. But it's worked for me. All right, well, there you go. More than you bargained for there. I hope everyone's feeling okay. Michael and I are about to do a massive deep dive into the Chris Evans, a.k.a. Captain America, leaked Dick Pics. It's a big one. I want to give you a warning. It's a masterclass in Dick Pics. It's a doctorate. Don't listen to it around the kids unless you want them to become experts in Dick Pics, okay? Just giving you that warning right now. We also talk about, I watched Mulan. Oh, I keep saying Mulan, like I'm Kath Day Knight. Mulan. I watched that over the weekend. And we talk about there's a lot of problems around that movie. And finally, The Bubble. Things have changed and shifted in Victoria today, and Michael's getting to see his mum, which is very exciting. Thank you to everyone who is listening. Oh, God. I was so sweaty. Do you know I've done this in one take? I'm not going to re-record it. Hopefully I've got everything in there I want to say. I've probably rambled, but I'm just going to send it off to Matt, my editor. Thank you for listening. Please recommend us if you want to other people. It's a tough thing recommending a podcast. You know, it's like recommending a book. Yeah, it's a hard sell, especially if people don't listen. So, you know, the way that our podcast grows is if you guys recommend us to friends and family or on your social media. So if you're listening now and you like what Michael and I do, the way you can help us, and it doesn't cost you a cent, is just to recommend us. Send the link. Actually make it easy for people to listen. Thank you, my darlings. I hope we're all square. I hope the love is back. I hope everyone's feeling seen and acknowledged and okay. Let's get into it. Dick Pics ahoy. Play the music.
M. Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
And I welcome him here to discuss the salvaging of the dumpster fire that is 2020 because yesterday, Chris Evans, Captain America, leaked some nudes. And I want to say he is a bloody hero. Just when you thought this year was a write-off, there his massive dong was. And not only his massive dong, a picture assuring anyone in possession of a vagina that he was the protector of it.
I think you're probably going to need to explain that a little bit.
So yesterday on Twitter, Chris Evans accidentally leaked a picture of his photo roll. Somehow got a screenshot, got up. And in the screenshot, there was a 33-second, was it a video of the big ginormous?
No, that was the shot above it.
Oh,
that was
so there was a huge penis. It was a stunning penis. It was lovely. And there was also a meme of his face with the words written under it, pussy protector. And
protect the pussy, I believe.
Protect the pussy. Sorry, my mistake. Fact checking there by producer Michael Lucas. Photos and stuff. And so the most recent thing I've watched of Chris Evans is him being reunited with his dog after a long time. It was really cute.
His Insta dog game is really good.
It's really strong. It's really strong. And controversially, your favourite Chris.
I know, I realised, but when I looked into my heart, yeah. I mean, look, obviously there's Chris Pine. He's not really in the running. I mean, he's fine in Wonder Woman.
Chris Pratt. Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Pratt used to be pretty high on the list, but it's the strong religion and it's the getting and not Anna Faris. That I loved him when he was with Anna Faris, but then it felt like he got hot and left her, and I don't like that. I mean,
got hot and left her for a much younger woman, a Schwarzenegger, in fact.
Oh, Schwarzenegger. And obviously the most controversial one is that I don't put our national hero Chris Hemsworth number one. But to be honest. Yeah. There's just something about the vibe of Chris Evans, and I like his choices. I love that he made Snowpiercer. I love that he made Knives Out. I just like what he's been doing outside of the superhero realm, more so than Chris Hemsworth.
He was the first one. Remember that little boy who protected his sister from the dog attack? And he was a big Captain America fan? And Chris Evans made that video. He was the first one. I mean, then, like Robert Downey Jr. jumped on and all the other Avengers jumped on. But he was the guy, the first Avenger.
And I will never forget, he's got his gay brother and they're really hilarious together, and he was so staunchly pro-gay marriage all the way back, and the gays never forget. We saw that support.
Scott Evans, who very much enjoyed his brother's. So, and the controversy, so the Dick Pics gone up and was quickly taken down. I mean, not that quickly, but it was taken down.
Oh, it's pretty quick. Those rabid fan people got screen grabs faster than... And also, they must have been pretty eagle-eyed, because when you first see that, you really need to hone on in before you...
Do ya? It was... I disagree. I think it was prominent. We both have a copy. Michael's gone kind of like the prudish, got to put my petticoat on route with this. I'm fully loving it.
I feel morally conflicted about it.
I don't. I'm not morally conflicted about a Chris Evans dick pic. Bring it on. The thing is, I mean...
No, it's just a matter of... consent, I guess, is the main issue.
Well, he obviously consented to the photo. It was in his photo camera roll.
Yeah, but that's obviously very different, and you know it. And we just haven't heard from him yet. We've heard from people around.
Well, we have. And I think we take it dick by dick. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy to accept a dick by dick case. And in this case, if I'm getting the okay from Mark Ruffalo and his brother Scott that Chris is okay, then I think it's okay that the dick is out there and we're looking at it.
I think you would reach that conclusion well before you heard from either of them. And also, I don't know, that makes me a bit unsettled, because there is this thing, I mean, I don't know.
So Scott Evans, his brother, tweeted, was off social media yesterday. So what did I miss?
I wouldn't take it to read Chris consented to that.
I feel like he's checked, he's gone, bro, are you okay with the dong online? And he'd be like, yeah. And also, just that it's not a bad dong. It's not like he'd be upset that dong shot got out. Like, it's not done him.
To be honest, we don't even really know that it's his. I mean...
Well, he hasn't denied it.
He hasn't said anything. I mean, that's the exact approach I would take. I would just say absolutely nothing.
I wouldn't. I would say, yes, I'm really sorry. I'm an idiot. It's my penis. Isn't it spectacular?
I do not believe that you would say that.
And Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk, of course, has tweeted at Chris Evans, bro, while Trump is in office, there is nothing you could possibly do to embarrass yourself. See? Silver lining.
That sounds like someone trying to reassure him.
I think he's fine.
Look, I'm sure he probably is. But I think people have very different reactions to you know, having worked with, obviously, these days, if actors expose themselves on screen, they know painfully that those shots will exist on porn sites forevermore. You'll never get rid of them. And it's really, really different person to person. Like, I mean, there are people that, to be honest, I've even heard people going that they know that happens. They kind of don't mind it and they check it out afterwards to see where they've ended up. That's an extreme. I have heard that response. Wow. All the way to, I never want that to happen. I never want that to be out there. And so therefore I'll not do anything. And we just don't, because it wasn't intentional, I guess we just don't know.
Oh, yeah. I still don't feel sorry for him, honestly.
No, it's not that so much that I'm feeling sorry for him. It's just I am checking myself slightly, having had a long established pattern with you of embracing these leaks. I did see a headline this morning that said Brett Sutton leak, and I was like, what? But it turned out it was a conference, and it was him talking about contact tracing.
I can't even contact tracing with a dick pic. Jesus, imagine that. That's a movie.
I could easily believe that camera roll, like, it was stuff that people had sent him that was like wildly so. The meme of him. I'm pretty sure someone texted him. That's what I want to
discuss. I'm more concerned about guard the pussy. I'm more concerned about that than the magnificent dong. Honestly, like, what conversation has he been having with the friend who made that? What is this? Can I register my pussy to be protected by Chris Evans? Is that something I can sign up for? Is this a new Marvel film he's working on? Is he going to be Captain Pussy? Like, I just need to know more information about that picture. Because to me, that is the most interesting thing on the camera roll.
I think it was just some stupid friend found it in some weird corner of the internet and goes, oh my God, look at this, and sent it to him. That's what I could imagine had happened.
It is amazing. I think it's amazing. I have a complete unashamedly double standard in this. I think leaking women's nudes without their consent is a horrific thing to do. A dick pic, on the other hand, fine, go for your life. Women have been sexualized for so long and so much more overtly than men, and it's always a bit of a joke when it happens to dudes. And I don't know. And I completely cop to it, double standard, hypocrite, how dare you. But I feel less sorry for men if their peens get out. I just do. But I do want to talk about the idea of the dick pic. Now, being a gay man, do you receive? I guess you weren't.
Do I receive them? I've signed myself up to the register, so I can receive.
No, I mean, like, for the gays. How do I put this? So you weren't out in the wild as a gay for very long. You locked down quite quickly.
Oh, and I locked down when we were still using Nokia phones. So
correct,
I mean,
correct, exactly. So in comparison to some of my other friends who are gay, sometimes if I ask to borrow their phone, they will look me in the eye and say, do not swipe left or right on my camera roll, because I know there will be, while my phone is filled with pictures of Elio, there are quite a few of my friends' camera rolls. They have a dick pic for every occasion, just waiting to go depending on what they're getting asked for on Grindr. So the notion of the dick pic for me is something that's quite normal, because so many of my friends have taken them, we've discussed them, we've received them, we've talked about which one's the best one to send. But you...
I am not one of these friends. You're
not a dick pic fan.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's never... I've just sort of missed the whole technological and cultural leap, unfortunately.
So and Adrian have never... You've been bi-coastal gays. You've been apart for long stretches of time in your relationship. Mm-hmm. You've never exchanged peen photos?
No. Have you and Scott exchanged any pictures like that?
Wish. He won't. He refuses. I'd love a dick pic from Scott, from no one else. It's just not a solicitation.
Like a dismembered picture of a penis? I don't know. Yeah.
It's good. I mean, and I've demanded one. I'm like, send me... I've even given him instructions on how to do it and what I like, because there's certain things I'm
surprised you haven't pulled out your argument of women have been sexualised so long, it's time to up the scales.
I have. I think I probably have in uncertain terms. I've spoken to a friend of ours who she swings both ways, and we discussed the merits of the flap photo. And she said that, you know what I'm talking about, and she said that she has sent flap photos before, and they are quite difficult to achieve. Because you're working with an under. Like, you've really got, and you've got to make sure the angles are good, because that angle, you can't get your chin or your face in. It's just got to be a headless flap photo, you know. And so I always worry that it would kind of look like, you know, like a deceased fruit bat from that angle. I don't know how you would get a flattering flap shot. I mean, I really have to think about that. But in terms of a good dick pic, I want the surroundings to be nice and clean. You know, I don't want things lying around. I want it to be a nice, clean environment. Maybe there's a plant, you know. Maybe there's a nice scented candle. I want your bed to be made. I don't want a toilet in the background. And I also want some nice lighting. Also, start with your pants on. A little grey tracksuit pant, a boxer. Give me the outline. Let me know there's something coming, okay? Literally. And then let's tease it out. And don't be afraid to turn the sound up. I don't mind a little sound. You know,
so you want a moving image.
A little video, a little sound, so I know that you're enjoying it. This is all to Scott, by the way, who I'll make listen to this. The idea of the unsolicited dick pic is a whole other conversation. It's horrible. It's assault. But if you have specifically asked your husband of 20 years for one, I think he should provide it.
What a pity you didn't secure this in the marriage vows. If only we could have seen this
eventuality. We got married before mobile phones. So we got together before he would have had to have got his mum to sketch it for him and send him via the post.
Do you, Scott, agree to carefully design the mise-en-scène around your dick pics before you send them to him? I do.
I just don't have a problem with them, and as long as they're solicited. But
do you think that you'd find them very attractive, or?
I mean, I've only really seen one for half of my life. And I mean, you know, it's a very good one. It's a very, very good one. I worry that he set an unrealistic expectation for our daughters, because obviously he used to walk around nude when they were little, not anymore. So they know what a peen looks like. But, you know, he doesn't.
They've also got
anymore.
internet connections. I'm fairly sure they've.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I would never have this conversation with them, but I just hope that's because that's not what every boy looks like, and I want equal opportunity for all future peens for my daughters, or whatever they may not go down the peen route. But I did talk to my daughter. I'm so glad we don't have a sponsor for this episode, by the way. Jesus Christ.
As Em talks about the pressure of giving her daughter's penis diversity.
So there is pressure. So I did say to my 13-year-old, has a boy ever sent you a picture of his penis? And she looked at me and she said, no. And I said, why are you laughing? She said, because all the boys I know are so scared of you.
Probably one of the reasons why I'm forever scared of dick pics.
Tell me.
Is because of you. There was one time when there was a certain celebrity dick pic incident and Em had texted me a picture of it and I had clocked it and then clicked my phone off. And this was in about 2014 and I went to set and I was in conversation with Gary McDonald, Australian icon, amazing actor who I was always into, a hero of mine, a hero,
Mother
an absolute hero.
Yes.
And we were talking at the time about something to do with Barack Obama. I can't remember what it was, some speech he'd given recently or something like that. And I was trying to recall what he had said. And I said, oh, no, hang on, I'll look it up. And I unclicked my phone in front of him and there was an enormous picture of a penis on it. And Garrett, and I went, oh, and then quickly got rid of that and then persisted with the conversation. And let's just say he never acknowledged it formally, but he never quite returned to the conversation. And I had very few conversations with him after that. And I would say he was a childhood hero of mine. So that's why, and that's why I think with Chris Evans, he's probably got some friend like you who has filled up his inbox with these images and now it's all out there and people are thinking it belongs to him. So anyway, that's why I get a bit jumpy with the dick pics. Don't want them.
I forgot about that. You called me straight after and you're like, bitch.
I know. I mean, I should have just deleted it straight away, but Jesus Christ.
So you would categorically never take a picture of it and you haven't ever. You've never tried. You've never done it.
Never taken a picture of myself naked. Yeah. I'm not saying that entirely.
What? Tell me. Tell everyone.
No, there's nothing that exciting.
Why did you take it? Tell me. I genuinely don't know this story and I thought I knew everything about you. Why did you take it?
I would say there's a certain time about a solid 15 years ago where I thought, would it be good to see if I could take a good photo of myself naked? And particularly when I was at a feeling at a point where I thought I'm never going to look better naked. Yeah. And let's just say I was dissatisfied with my results and I decided to never share it with another person.
Have you still got the photo?
No, I don't actually, and I do regret that. On my phone, in my apartment in Sydney. Sorry,
where were you? You shared apartment?
Yeah, but you can close the door, and I tell you, I did.
And how did you pose? Like, did you have your knee up or like, did you flex? Did you squat? Like,
it was also honestly because this is getting worse and worse. I had waxed like my chest hair and everything like that.
Was this a pre-Halloween
as you said,
party?
Well, grooming. It was in the lead up to it. Yes. Yeah. And so I'd been getting fit and I'd waxed and I thought, maybe can I take a good picture of this? And the answer was no. Not really. Or not that I wanted to share with anyone. I just imagined the person getting it going, why would he send this?
Oh, God.
So have you taken a picture of yourself naked?
Nah, never. I couldn't because when my body was looking like in a way where I'd be happy if the photo leaked, that was like that was like around the Sony Cybershot. That wasn't easy. That was like the free Idol cameras, like the Australian Idol cameras everyone got given. No.
Didn't you pose naked once for a radio stunt?
Yeah, but it was like strategically placed arms and heels. Yeah, if you search M. Rusciano nude, a picture of me comes up. Totally.
Wow. There you go. You're welcome, listeners.
All right, moving on from dick pics to Disney.
It's such a natural segue.
For us it is.
It is.
Bloody oath, yeah. My family and I sat down and watched a movie together as we like to do once a week, and we decided to watch Mulan.
Yeah.
It always sounds like Kath Day Night when I say
Mulan.
Mulan.
You did. That is exactly what I was thinking.
Mulan.
Kel.
Mulan. Kel.
How do you feel about watching Mulan?
Mulan. Put on Mulan, Kel. We watch Mulan. Mulan. No, that was Italian. We watch Mulan. And it's the new one, the new Disney remake. And the remakes for us have been a bit sketch, haven't they? In terms of...
I mean, I constantly see them because my connection to the original 100%. Films is so strong that I need to. Yes. But I didn't mind The Jungle Book, but I suspect that's because my connection to the original was not as strong with that. But I certainly felt a bit deflated after Beauty and the Beast and especially Aladdin.
Well, for me... Lion King has kind of redeemed itself because Elio loves it so much. So originally when I saw it, I couldn't really get on board with it because their faces didn't emote. It was just animals talking but with no facial expression. And, of course, the very famous Beyonce, Lions Attack, was something that will stay with me forever.
Yeah.
Because Beyonce didn't even try to be Nala. It should have just been called Beyonce Lion King featuring Beyonce because she didn't try and put on a voice at all. But we've started rewatching that again and Elio really loves it and I'm kind of on board with it now.
I thought that was pretty good. It was just so close to the original. That's probably my favourite. But that's almost like a shot-for-shot remake, a reanimation.
No, I was annoyed with what they did to Scar. They took away all the camp.
Oh, the camp, of course, because gay people can't be villains.
Yeah, he was my favourite character. And Be Prepared is my second all-time favourite Disney song.
I know it sounds sordid, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my dues. And injustice deliciously swear. Be prepared.
Behind Ursula, Poor Unfortunate Souls. This one had a lot of baggage, and I knew that, and I deliberately avoided all the controversy around it and watched it. Now, you watched it first with your Chinese-Italian husband, and I'm interested to know how he felt about it.
Oh, well, I think a friend of ours, Corey Chen, has put it best when she said had all the cultural authenticity of lemon chicken in the food court. Yeah, I mean, he was really questioning the design. The thing is, they didn't get a Chinese director to direct it, and that was felt potently. I mean, he's such a devotee of Chinese cinema, and also both of us actually feel really connected to the original. And to be honest, like I missed those songs, but I missed what the story. Like, I just felt that training montage was so much better when they were singing "I'll Make a Man Out of You," and I wasn't wild about the changes they made to the story. It was just it was a bit of a tough view for me.
When they find out who you are, they will show you no mercy. I'm Hua Mulan. I will bring honor to us all.
Well, I loved it.
Yes.
God help me! Like and now I've read all the things that are bad about it and all the reasons why it's being boycotted. And oh man, I actually feel bad for watching it. But in the moment, I cried because this little girl being told she has too much chi and she needs to hide it when she just wants to burst out of things and bounce off walls and she's good at all the things and athletic. And I just thought that's even though I'm not Chinese, I just watched it going, I felt represented. And again, when there's the story, the witch who in the 1998 animated thing is just a hawk, but she's an actual woman in this. When the witch and her are kind of in the confrontation and she says, you know, until you stop pretending who you're not, you'll never fully be able to unleash your chi. Oh, that just struck me in my heart. And I understood. And the storyline between the witch and Mulan, Kath Day Knight, was so touching. And I loved that bit. And I also realised, and the girls and I loved it, and I got really teary a few times, because I feel I'm so starved for representation in the female superhero genre.
Yeah. Well, there were two massive ones that were meant to come out this year that obviously haven't. Wonder Woman 1984 and also the big Black Widow movie. She's finally getting her own one. And both of them were meant to have hit this year, unfortunately. Delayed.
I know, but also with Black Widow, so my first superhero the one I first loved was She-Ra, Princess of Power. She was just, I loved her so much. And then Xena Warrior Princess came out, obviously, when I was a kid. And, oh, God, I loved Xena. I loved everything about Xena. But the thing is, she kind of died at the end, and the same with Black Widow. They always kill off the strong female superheroes. Like they have to sacrifice themselves.
I always loved a woman in an action movie as well. Ripley in Aliens and Sarah Connor in Terminator 2 Heaven.
Oh, Sarah Connor.
Oh.
Why me? Why does it want me?
So I think I realised how starved I am for kind of representation of that strong female lead who's kick-ass, that doesn't necessarily have a romance line, that doesn't have a male saviour. And so I watched this film, and it is visually spectacular. It really is. But unfortunately, Disney failed to do enough research and fundamentally misunderstood Chinese culture, which is a big deal for retelling a Chinese tale that is centuries old, that is beloved by the Chinese people. And a lot of people felt like it was also critical of China and unpatriotic. So a lot of Chinese people came out feeling like that they felt criticised. And so the Chinese government made it for America. You know, they wanted to invest in it and make it for American audiences. And I think the American Disney side of things wanted to make it for Chinese audiences. And I think they just made a big fuck up because they weren't on the same page.
Yeah,
I think it had to be one or the other.
Chinese version. It feels like every 6 years China makes a version of Mulan. It's just, you know, we don't get them because apparently we can't handle subtitles or something. It's so sad.
Oh, my God. It was like the retelling of this ancient Chinese tale by a Westerner. Because didn't you say the director? Who was the director?
Well, the director, I mean, this is confusing. Nikki Caro, New Zealand director, who did Whale Rider. And you can totally understand why 4 years ago they would have thought...
a woman directed it. That's why I loved it.
She directed Whale Rider, of course, makes perfect sense. But I think even in the past few years, things have changed a bit. Now you'd probably think, you know what? I'm not sure about...
Mate, the first thing you do is hire a Chinese director to tell a Chinese story. For me... But the worst part about all of this, and I'm reading it all going, oh, yeah, that's bad, is that Disney filmed it in Xinjiang, where the government has been accused of serious human rights abuse. There's the people, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing stuff, I've tried to get it right, the Uyghurs, and they're a Muslim minority group who live in Xinjiang, and they're being detained in re-education camps. And the Chinese government have been accused of forced sterilisation of the women in the camps so that the culture dies out because they're Muslims and then they're a small group. And Disney, in the credits, thanked the police in that area and thanked the propaganda machine of Xinjiang. So everyone's like, guys, do you know what's going on in the place where you set your film? And Disney's like, sorry. So, you know.
Honestly, for the rest of our lives, it's totally going to be dominated by this kind of fraught relationship with China because they're the superpower. I mean, it's still America, but if they vote Donald Trump in a second term, you can pretty much assume that China is absolutely the superpower, the economic and cultural superpower. And even right now, they've expelled all the Australian journalists.
I know.
There's no Australian journalists anymore, but they're our biggest trading partner. So they've got us by the balls. And it is that thing of to what extent do you push back on all this sort of stuff? I mean, in terms of human rights abuses and everything, obviously you feel like you should have zero tolerance for that. But then on the other hand, we've ended up in a situation where our economy is pretty much hinged on them.
Yes. And the government have, I mean, obviously everything that's gone on with Hong Kong, like it's...
And the terrifying thing about it all is obviously, you know, they're not democratic, obviously.
Nope.
And in the past few years... you'd have to say on some levels compared to democratic nations, they've been a pretty good advertisement for how efficient you can be, like especially when tackling a pandemic. Then you know that we and particularly the United States haven't been given democracy a good name.
Jesus Christ! But you're not saying we need to be more like the People's Republic of China,
are you? No, of course I'm not. Of course I'm not. I'm just saying, brace yourself. As every passing decade goes by, I think they're going to be. It's inevitable.
According to a lot of people, we already have a dictator in Dan Andrews. So, you know, how ridiculous. How ridiculous to even compare the two. Anyone doing that needs to go and spend some time in mainland China, I think, to really understand what a dictatorship looks like before they start calling Dan Andrews one. For me, I always laugh when I see that, for fuck's sake. Look, I think we just need to say about Mulan.
Yeah. Go on.
Mulan.
Go, Kath.
Mulan. I think when you say about Mulan is that it's extremely problematic on every level, but I still loved it. So.
How connected were you to the 1998 one?
Not that connected.
Yeah. This is so tragic. At Hoyts Greensboro, I was working as an usher when that came out. I was in my late teens.
No, we were 18, Michael. I wasn't watching it.
Yeah, but I was because there was a nationwide competition to design some sort of like Mulan decorations to go outside the cinema.
Is this going to be worse than the penis photo you've just described?
I basically built a Great Wall of China in Hoyts Greensboro, and it won a competition and we got like $1,000 for our staff Christmas party. I've got pictures of me posing in front of the Great Wall of China.
Okay, well, I'm going to need those for the Instagram. Can you please?
Actually, I think it was sort of it was a mural that sort of sprung into it. Anyway,
okay.
I'll see if I can find it.
No, you need to, and this leads perfectly into what we're talking about next, because obviously you're going to go see your mum because she's living by herself, and you're in the bubble with your mum.
Yeah,
and I'm assuming she has the photo of the Great Wall of China that you built.
I don't know, actually. I'll have a look.
Oh, my God.
As we just sit here criticising non-white people for representing, said by someone. So I certainly watched that movie a lot, and I had to clean the cinemas after every session so that Stevie Wonder... God, they picked the weirdest artist for that. Christina Aguilera and Stevie Wonder. Nonetheless, good tunes.
Yes, it was fine. Everything is problematic. So the new law's kicking today, obviously, in Melbourne. It doesn't feel like that much is changing. You can exercise for 2 hours. The parks are open. God, I never in my life thought I'd be thankful to go and pretend to eat bark in a fucking park and drink a fake coffee my kids made me and pretend to be excited when he goes down the slide. I never thought the day would come where I'd be like, we can go to a park today. But what I don't understand is the bubbles. Tell me what is it? What are the bubbles?
Well, if you're a single person, you don't you create a buddy bubble and you can pick one other person, but it's quite complicated because you can only have that one person. So
but what if you've got more than, like, Scott's mum's by herself, but she's got 2 kids?
Yeah, well, she has to choose one, doesn't she? This is happening all over town.
Is this finally Sophie's Choice? I've never seen the movie. Don't tell me what it's about. Is this Sophie's Choice?
I'm going to say no because I don't think the stakes are quite as high.
I never want to know what Sophie's Choice is about. I never want to know.
Well, it's good that you just keep referring to it again and again and again without having any idea what it's about. That seems like a good strategy. Yeah, but it's a complicated situation. I mean, it's like the old dilemma of having to choose a chief bridesmaid or something like that. Like all of a sudden, schoolyard politics are coming back.
But who's policing the picking of the like? How do they know that bubble number? Like,
well,
how do you know?
It's all a bit of a trust system, isn't it? I mean, they can't be going around. I'm expecting that when I hang out with my mum, federal police will not break into our gathering and ask to see any kind of details.
Your mum might become a bubble slut because she has a lot of friends. Your mum has more friends than anyone I know. Like, it is extraordinary.
She's also got she's only got one. I mean, she's got stepchildren and half children. Not half children. I've got half siblings. She's got half children. She's got stepchildren, but I'm her only full child, and I'm the only one that is living in Melbourne. So, I mean, it'd be pretty offensive if it wasn't me. But Scott's mum's in a difficult situation. And if she does pick Scott, technically the rest of you have to stay away. She just sees Scott. Mask on.
I think it's okay. I talk to Liz on the phone, so I don't have to go in person. Can he take Elio? Like, Elio doesn't count as a full person, does he?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, I'm so busy. I can't look after Elio.
I'd have to consult the roadmap. I'm sorry, Em. I don't know.
Wasn't there a woman? Didn't we see a woman auditioning Friends on the news?
I love it. ABC News last night, amazing. She was picking who to put in a bubble, and so she was inviting people to come and go for a walk with her in the park, and they filmed her. There's poor other sort of reverent-looking, slightly nervous lady going for a walk around the pond. I mean, how offensive. But I appreciate it, and I really think, this is the reality TV culture we've developed. I really hope she marks it with a rose when she finally is.
Diana Hess is busy auditioning for a bubble partner. She put the call out on social media and is going for walks with prospectives.
I fully support the idea of the bubble chiller. I think that would be amazing. I think that would be I love the idea of auditioning people for the bubble. Oh my God, yes. Everything about that appeals to me.
Will get to, you can do it still because the next stage is you can pick a whole household bubble. So, and we have actually wondered about that.
You'll have to pick us.
Well, no, you're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say, well, I'm just going to start the process and draw up some candidates. You've got to make me hungry for it, make me work for it.
Well, obviously, I'll have to think about Joel and Jamila and Claire and Santilla, you know, all my friends. Rob Mills and Georgie are desperate to come out and see the kids, you know. What will you be offering the bubble if I allow you into it, Michael? What would you say your attributes are for the bubble?
I would say a commitment to gin, couch and YouTube marathons that I don't think anyone else can give you in quite the same way, and you know it.
I have to say to you, everyone else who would want to be in my bubble knows that they lose to you. Sorry.
No, I'm feeling pretty confident.
You're the Serena Williams of the US Open at this point. Like, it's not, don't even show up. It's fine. All right. Well, my goodness me. There was a doctorate in dicks. God. I am glad we don't have a sponsor today because I probably wouldn't have gone that deep into dicks if we had to have an answer to someone.
I don't know. Medibank Private might have been.
Or erectile dysfunction medication. That could have been good. I do want to thank everyone that got on board with my latest Instagram influencer video. Thank you to all of you and your very subtle comments. One woman wrote, I'm going to go buy 1,000 of these. Is that what I'm supposed to write? I'm like, mate. Thank you for getting on board, but can you be less obvious? There are people writing, I love you all. Emsolation listeners, I know exactly who of you heard that podcast because some people are writing, consider me influenced. I'm never buying any other lollies again. The comments are brilliant. The Natural Confectionery Company must just be going, God, they just really are on board with this. So I want to thank everyone. I want to warn you, there's another one coming next week. I want you to be prepared for some more influencing. Again, the company is a big company and they've allowed me to do whatever I want with the creative. I've even written the script, which Michael Lucas has overseen. And just, you know the drill. Oh, and also while we're on Instagram, guys, I'm going to talk really close. Please, for the love of fuck, stop tagging me in the Purple Wiggles twins announcement because it is starting to look super creeps, okay?
And can I just add, stop tagging me in Jock posts. If he does something cute on Instagram, he is probably going to start wondering, who is this Mr. Michael Lucas and why is he tagged 14 times?
Mate, at least yours is spread out over a few photos. Like, this guy's announced his twins and it looks like I birthed them because I've been tagged so many times. or like I am one of them. And I just like, I had to specifically go onto the Emsolation Instagram page and request the tagging stop. It hasn't stopped. People are still tagging me. So enough. I saw it. I'm obsessed. Did you see that Emma just put a little purple heart? Oh, my God. But no more. No more wiggle baby.
Yeah, be careful of how much you talk about it because you'll just get tagged more.
Okay, no more tagging, no more tagging. All right, thank you so much for the deep dive into dicks and everything else that happened. And I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Okay, bye.
This is Emsolation.
Hey, thanks for listening. Guess what? Bit of a treat for you if you're listening on Tuesday, tonight, Tuesday the 15th of September. Some of you don't, some of you listen back. I got to do some stand-up. I got to get on stage with my dad for the Victorian government. Nazim Hussain, one of my favourite humans on the face of the planet, hosted the stand-up sessions. You're going to see Alex Ward open. She's incredible. Great female comic. Great comic. Doesn't matter that she's female, but, that does excite me more because amplifying female comics is just such a passion of mine. So if you can watch it, that'd be great. You can watch it tonight. It's together.vic.gov.au. The stand-up sessions, I'm sure it'll still be on the website if you're listening to this on another day that's not Tuesday. But yeah, it was Vincey's there. We sang a little song. I did some stand-up. I've just watched it back. I don't hate it, which is good. I'm in a sparkly jacket. I hope you enjoy it. I did talk about my pants not doing up, so just forgive me. Sorry. It was before I had my diet epiphany. I hope the Dick Pic talk was enlightening. I still maintain my stance, my double standard, I'm a hypocrite. Flat out, card-carrying hypocrite. My name is Em Rossiano. I'm a hypocrite when it comes to Dick Pics v. flap snaps. Soz about it. As long as it's all consensual. And I don't know if Chris Evans, if it was an accident, who we'll never know. It'll be one of life's great mysteries. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great day. Please know that I always mean well. Please know that I always mean well. Tell your friends about us. Chat soon. Bye.